to my kitchen. Today I'm planning on making some baked goods that I need a fruit filling for. I skipped kiflis this year because it was too busy and too frantic, and that was just one thing that I didn't think that I needed to put on my list to do, because I tend to overextend myself this time of year, and my family says I shouldn't do that, so we're skipping the kiflis. But I'm going to make something else that I want a fruit filling for, and I'm going to show you how to make a really nice fruit filling for cookies or pastries that is very similar to the Solo brand fruit fillings that you buy in the store that are almost $6 a can in some places, and you get less than a cup. There's a really easy way to make. We're going to make cherry, we're going to make apricot, and we're going to make Lekvar, which in Hungarian that's a prune filling. You can make Danish with it. I put it in my kiflis. You can make a prune roll with it. It's wonderful. It's just basically pureed fruit, but you start with dried fruit, and that's the secret. So this is how we're going to make it. I'm going to do cherry, apricot, and prune Lekvar. And Lekvar can also be used as a blanket term. Fruit Lekvar could be, it's Lekvar, for those of you who are wondering. I'm just, bless you, sweetheart. This is a, how big is this bag? This is a 13.5-ounce bag of a triple cherry blend. I buy this at Sam's Club, and I love these. I could just eat these out of hand. They're so delicious. And they're sour. We have to let Scooter outside. Go, please. And then we're going to do some apricots.
I'm trying to come down with my holiday cold.
And I'm going to keep some back because Micah really likes them, and I might want to put some on my cheese board for Christmas Eve. Of course, I may just end up... I have reached through that. And there's just a little water in here because I rinsed it out. And since I have this ginormous bag of prunes, I will measure for there somewhat. Okay. I'm probably not going to do that much prune. I love prunes, and so do my kids. They're like candy, and you know, we love them because we love plums. Who wouldn't love dried plums? And these are intense and sweet.
They get such a bad rap.
They do get a bad rap. I've been eating prunes ever since I was a kid. They're delicious. And you know what? They also, when you have a yen for something sweet, a couple of prunes, it really drives that craving away. And not only that, what are you doing, sweetheart? Oh, it's good for you. It's full of fiber, and it will keep you regular. I mean, let's be serious here, right?
Now you did let the dogs in.
And now I've got the dogs in. My house is crazy.
So call me maybe.
I knew that was coming, you know. I apologize for my husband's last outburst.
You're lucky I didn't try singing it.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, they are lucky, aren't they? Okay, we're just going to use this measuring cup. Basically, I honestly don't usually use a measuring cup, but I usually just put water to just about cover the fruit. So that's good for the prunes. And I have big pots, so if you have small pots, you know, use them accordingly. But you're just going to want, and that's probably plenty for the cherries as well. So I don't know that I'm going to need much more. As you cook it, you're going to see. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at there. I've used 2 cups of water in each pot, okay? And I know these fruits are sweet already, but I am going to add 1/4 cup of sugar to each pot because we are using this as a fruit filling for a baked good, and sometimes they need a little boost. Because once you get these all rehydrated, they may not be as intensified in their flavor as they once were before you rehydrated them. So, I mean, to me, that's the best part about dried fruit, because their flavors are so intense and delicious. They're easy to eat, of course. You have to be careful when you eat dried fruit because sometimes you can overdo it, and our bodies don't like that. So just remember that, because when you eat them, you'll be rehydrating them in your belly. So that is something to consider. But this is one of the best ways I have found to make these types of fillings. I know it kind of sounds weird. Why wouldn't you just start with a jam? Well, these aren't really a jam. These are going to be very, very thick. I'm going to bring these over to the stove. And I'm going to turn them on a medium heat and bring them to a simmer. And then I'm probably going to just let these simmer for about an hour. Honestly, I'm going to keep a close eye on them. And then once they're totally rehydrated and soft, when you can start stirring them with your spoon and breaking them up, then we're going to come in with the immersion blender and we're going to smooth everything into a thick fruit paste. And you'll see when I get ready to do that what that looks like. So when that happens, I'll be back and I'll let you know exactly how long I let these simmer for. Okay, it has been, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes or so. These are the prunes, and if you can see without getting too steamy here, I'm going to bring it over in a minute, but they're really soft and it's very thick, and the water has almost boiled out of it. So you don't want it to boil dry. If it boils dry, you're going to have a problem, okay? My apricots here, the apricots actually needed a little more water and a little more time, and they usually do because they're much larger than the prunes. The cherries are ready, they're soft, and they're simmered. These have not boiled dry at all, but the prunes are ready to go through the immersion blender. And then I'm also going to do the cherries. So let's do that, and I'll show you what this is going to look like. This is exactly what you want it to look like. If it takes a little while to blend it, just keep doing it. And you'll get the desired consistency. I'm looking for a very smooth consistency. If there's a couple of chunks in there, it's not going to hurt anything. But when you get a Danish or a pastry that has a fruit filling in it, then it doesn't have big chunks. Sometimes it might, but for the most part, not so much. Okay. So I'll just scrape this off here. Get this out of here. And then I'm going to rinse it. And then we'll do the cherries. And if you know what, it's not going to be a big deal if you don't rinse in between each one. But you can see how lovely that is. It's nice. And once this cools off, this costs a lot less money than the $6 can at the grocery store. For those of you who enjoy a prune Lekvar, maybe there are some of you out there who grew up in Hungarian areas. Lekvar is used all the time in Hungarian style pastries and Eastern European pastries, Czechoslovakian, well, there's really no more Czechoslovakia anymore, is there? It's Serbia and all of that. But in any case, I'm going to set this aside to cool. You can put it in a separate container and let it cool. I'm going to go ahead and take the cherries off of the heat. And you can see what these look like. Now there's quite a bit more water in here. My apricots are starting to come back up to the simmer after I added about a cup more water in there. Let's blend these up. You can hear it change as it's blending it finer and finer. You can see the texture changing. You can hear it changing. It's really blending done.
I think it throws in a blender too, couldn't it?
Absolutely, you could throw it in a blender. Absolutely. If you don't have an immersion blender, please don't feel like you have to run out and buy one of these. But I will say that I enjoy having this in my kitchen because it does make fast work out of things like this. I'm just going to rinse off my spatula from the prunes. And I'm going to pull this out of here now. And I've got prune all over my hands now. There we go. It's distracting, I'm sure. If it looks a little loose when you finish blending it, don't put it back on the heat. If it's really loose, you think you want it to be thicker when it's hot, then I would say it's okay to probably simmer it another 5 or 10 minutes over a low heat. But this is going to pop and sputter and possibly hurt you if you're standing too close to the stove. So my recommendation is to just go ahead and let this cool completely, because as this cools, it's going to thicken. And that's going to be really yummy. It's nice and intense cherry flavor there. And then we're going to go ahead and have a look at our apricots. I could attempt to, yeah, we can go ahead and try blending these.
Or will it blend?
Yeah, it'll blend, but we might have to show it who's boss. Alright. Now, again, you can put this in the blender like Rick said, and I should have said that from the beginning. I don't want y'all to think that you have to run out and buy a new piece of equipment just because I have Check it one more time. I think that's acceptable for me. Now, again, let these cool completely, and then you'll be able to use them as a fruit filling in cookies, pastries, Danish, baked goods of lots of types. I'm going to be using these in a recipe later today, and I will be sharing that with you, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. So, because I had a couple of people ask me if I had a recipe for these, and then it just so happened that I came across one that I want to try, and we're going to give it a go. So, that is how you make apricot, prune, and cherry Lekvar for your holiday baked goods or anytime. I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And until next time, Merry Christmas. I just wanted to pop in real quick. It is actually the next day. I didn't actually get to my baked goods like I had wanted to yesterday. I actually decided I was going to get all of my wrapping done, and I did. And by the time I was done yesterday, my back was like screaming at me, so I'm glad I didn't decide to go ahead and do any baking yesterday, but it'll get done today. I wanted to show you these Lekvars just so you could see. Hey, Micah, will you come over here and take the camera from me? Because Rick is in the back. Rick is wrapping my presents. I wanted to show you the consistency of these so you could see how thick they are after they cool. This is the prune. You see it real good? This is the prune, and you can see how thick it is. It's delicious. And you see how thick that is. And this is the, yeah, I know. This is the apricot.
Looks like baby.
See? I know. But that's how thick it's supposed to be. And this is the cherry. The cherry has a bit of a softer consistency because the cherry is a bit of a softer fruit. And I think that we added just a, I don't know. But this is exactly how it's supposed to be. It's a lot cheaper than those jars that I mentioned that you can buy in the grocery store. But I wanted to show you what those look like. And actually, the amount of apricots that I used, I actually got 3 pints total, or 3 half. Well, I've got a pint and a half a pint. So that will not go to waste. You can actually, well, there goes my bread timer. You can actually freeze these. I would freeze them in like 1 cup increments in like sandwich freezer bags. And then when you want to use them, thaw them out on the counter for a couple hours and then just snip the corner off and use it like a pastry bag. But I wanted to show you what those look like. And there they are. So I wanted to give you some idea what they look like after they're totally cool. So I know it's at the end of the video and I already said goodbye, but I'll say goodbye again, and I'll say I hope you try it, I hope you love it, and until next time, Merry Christmas.